6:01 p.m. on April 11th, and this is the time and place for the Ada County Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to everyone here. And yeah, since it looks like the applicant, or one of the applicants is the only one here, I'll do a quick breeze through of the process. Staff will present, the applicant will have an opportunity to talk for 15 minutes. Members of the public, if anyone so chooses to talk, will have 3 minutes for public testimony. And then we'll go back to staff for questions, and the applicant will then have 5 minutes of rebuttal. Then we'll close the public hearing, and I'll look for a motion on the table, and then the discussion will happen after the motion. And I will do roll call. So, Commissioner Blitman,
Here.
Commissioner Birch,
Here.
Commissioner Retzloff,
Here.
Commissioner Wickstrom,
Here.
Commissioner Colson,
Here.
Commissioner Scott.
Here.
And I am Commissioner Exton, so I am present. The first item on the agenda is Project 20230106 ZCDASVACPR. And there's a staff recommendation to table to May 9th, 2024. Do I have a motion?
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I move to table motion number 202301060 until May 9th, 2024.
A second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And I'll also say aye. Next up is Project 2023-02047S FPPR, Kimley Horn Associates, and there is also a staff recommendation to table that to the May 9th meeting. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I motion that we table 2023-02047-SSFP-PR to the May 9th hearing.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And I will also say aye. All right, so the last item on our agenda is Project 202302403 CU MSP PBA Clark Wardle LLP.
Chairman and Commissioners, project number 2023-02403-CU-MSP-PBA is a conditional use and master site plan for a public or quasi-public use in the form of a well house. Also included is a property boundary adjustment to abide by county setbacks. The site is located at the corner of East Mayfield Road and South Desert Wind Road and contains approximately 116 acres in total. The site is located several miles southeast of Boise city limits, abuts the border with Elmore County, and the site is also not in an area of city impact. Most of the surrounding property is agricultural uses with some rural residential uses across county lines. Boise State Stop is also nearby to the west. The applicant has applied for a public or quasi-public use, which is allowed with conditional use approval and a master site plan. They have also included a property boundary adjustment so that the well house abides by the Rural Preservation District setbacks. The proposed 450 square foot well house will be serving the Mayfield Springs community located in Elmore County southeast of the site. The well house will be constructed over an existing well with a water line to connect the well to the development. The applicant has requested a waiver from landscaping requirements due to being far removed from any public visibility points. Staff is recommending approval of the landscaping waiver due to the low usage of the site, surrounding area, and lack of comments in opposition. The application was transmitted to agencies concerned with the protection of the public health, safety, and welfare, as well as property owners within 1,000 feet of the site. There were no comments in opposition, and any requested conditions of approval were incorporated into the draft findings for this project. Some key conditions of approval will be that the driveway approach be approved by ACHD, and any other improvements abide by ACHD's standard conditions of approval. A building permit will be required with a full code analysis. The record of survey will be edited according to the county surveyor's comments, and a parking plan will be submitted to show the required 1 parking space for the use. The application was determined to be in compliance with the Ada County Comprehensive Plan, and no comments from neighbors were received. Staff finds that the application complies with the Ada County Code and recommends approval to the commission. This presentation will be known as Exhibit Number 33, and I will stand for any questions.
Thank you. Does the commission have any questions?
Just one quick. Thank you. Is this well currently being used by the subdivision right now?
I don't believe it's currently used, but it is already drilled, so it's an existing well.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I wondered if the subdivision has been approved by Elmore County.
From what I know, Mayfield Springs is a planned community, and some parts of it have been given preliminary plat approval, but I think the applicant can probably give more clarification on that.
Thank you.
All right, seeing no more questions, I'll invite the applicant up. If you can state your name and address for the record, and you'll have 5 minutes.
All right. Preston Rudder, 251 East Front Street, Boise, Idaho. And I don't want to get in the way of the record fastest hearing you've ever had as a body, so I'll try to be brief. Just a few of the questions I think you asked about approval, and Ms. Hayes was correct. There has been preliminary approval for this project. We're heavily involved on it. That's why I'm here. And it is an existing well, Commissioner Wickstrom. It was actually drilled 10 years ago, but will be active soon. And if I could just add a few more points. One being, thank you for the staff report, Ms. Hayes. This is my first time doing one with you and did a very commendable job and was very pleasant to work with. This will be the most vetted, thoroughly reviewed 15 by 30 cinder block shell in the county. We squabbled at first about whether we had to fall into this bigger category. We ultimately said we'll go along with it, and we've complied with all those requirements. Had a natural features analysis. We've confirmed it's still sagebrush. And for the Mayfield project, we did a very in-depth natural features analysis and just carried that over here. And there was 4 public hearing notice signs, so no one could have missed it, but apparently they all did because no one's here tonight. Or they just are all in approval, just like we hope will be the result tonight. Just want to echo here that this will be a very minimal footprint, very passive use. And again, nothing but sagebrush. This will be piped to the Mayfield Springs project. All the standards that are applicable, we do fit and satisfy. And we're okay with the staff report, conditions of approval, and a few pending items like a parking plan. I think we can make it work to show we can fit 1 or 2 cars there, so there shouldn't be any issue whatsoever. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you. Does the commission have any questions? Commissioner Birch?
This is more of a curiosity question about the development than anything else. So you're here because the well house is going to be in Ada County.
That's correct.
How much of the subdivision is going to be in Ada County?
None of it. What you see tonight is the extent of the footprint of this subdivision. Thank you. This is the perfect slide. That light blue neon line shooting up to the left corner, that's it. That vertical line, I believe, is the county line. So as you can see, this project is abuts right up to Ada County, and all of it will be in Elmore County, except for this little fragment, and that's why we're here. Yeah.
And there were no, I presume this whole area was dry. There were no water rights other than for a handful of properties that have been there historically that have raised crops up there, correct?
Yeah, that's my understanding. And this site in particular doesn't have any surface water. It's pretty bone dry. This, obviously had to dig for groundwater, and most of the area is just used for open rangeland and is pretty dormant right now.
So it'll be all private wells and septic, is that right?
Yeah, that's my understanding. And this site won't even have septic because there's no restroom facility. It's just literally a cinder block shell just descending from the heavens right over this well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions?
Hi. How deep is, you said it's been previously drilled, right?
Yeah.
How deep is it?
I do not know the depth of it. They obviously, this was capped. They did find water. I don't know the depth of that.
Oh, okay. And then the other question I have is, on your presentation, you said you'd be working from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Do you anticipate working that late?
I hope not. And I think what that is saying is the operation conditions that while we're doing construction, we won't have anyone doing backup and construction before 7 a.m. or after 10 p.m. And for the operation that would happen there once completed, it'll be during business hours, maybe 1 or 2 trips a month is all. So, no, I don't think we'll be working that late or that early. Yeah.
Do you know how long it's going to take you to complete just the dropping from heaven little tiny 30 by 15?
It may not
structure?
come from heaven, but this is one where we don't expect it taking too long. If anything, it'll be more of the administrative side. We will have to apply for a building permit, talk with ACHD about approach permits, and that may take more time than even the actual construction. There will be a road that will be built to this to be more direct. One of the images showed that. There's currently a few old rutted roads that get to this well site, but it's hardly ever accessed, and that kind of will still be the case. But to give a better road for construction crews, instead of using these old ones, there will be some discussion with ACHD. That'll probably, like I said, take as much or if not longer than the actual construction. But I don't have like a Gantt chart of how long it would take. I
But you
wouldn't
don't know
imagine that.
how long the actual construction.
No, we just have the concept plan right now, not so much the timeline for construction. But this is not an urgent matter. We do want to have that approval because of the larger project, make sure we have all the infrastructure in place. But this is maybe a little further down the list for construction, starting the construction, maybe compared to other well sites that we're also serving this.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman? Yes. I wondered, it says that there's a property boundary adjustment.
Yes.
Can you explain that a little bit?
Yes, and if you have your full report, Ms. Hayes, could you go to page 24? If not, this one right here, if you can zoom in, I don't have a pointer here, but right where that little jog, there's a little square up here, there's a jog. And the way this well site was situated, it actually was within 25 feet of the then straight line boundary. So what we had to do to make sure it wasn't within 25 feet, we had to jog up the boundary and then jog it back, kind of go around. It's hard to see, but you can see that little protrusion up there. We had to keep that parcel 40 acres, so we had to compensate for that lost little square. And what we did is we dropped the boundary line, and if I may, kind of come up here. I guess you can't see that, but if you get your cursor over here, that right up here in this visual, that captures it the best. That's the extent of the property boundary adjustment, just to make sure that this well site doesn't hit within 25 feet of a boundary line.
Any other questions? Yes. Commissioner.
Real quick question, who's going to be maintaining this as it's starting to be used and responsible for it for 10 to 20 years from now, being as it's split?
Yeah.
Literally, it's controlling stuff in Elmore County, but it's sitting in Ada County.
No, it's a good question, and this is similar questions are asked to us by Elmore County, and this is the first planned community in Elmore County. It's kind of a case of first impression, so we're all kind of figuring it out. It's a creature of statute, these planned communities. What I expect to happen will be what we're doing for other things. For example, we have in this project a medical emergency building, fire services. Initially, the development team is going to be monitoring it. They're going to do the construction. And until the time comes when that is ready to be handed off, probably to a sub-entity of an HOA or the HOA itself, but the developer will be hands-on to make sure that this project is live, online, and then thereafter we'll transfer that maintenance duty to another entity for the long term.
Okay, because that's just my biggest current
Yep.
concern over the years. Once it's fully developed out,
Yeah.
the subdivision would be like, oh, that's not my responsibility. I just want to make sure that it's not coming back anywhere close to onto Ada County or anything like that.
No, I wouldn't expect it, and they want to make sure they're highly incentivized to keep it maintained because it does provide essential water for this planned community, which, by the way, we'll have thousands of homes built in there. Our client is literally building a city from scratch. It's pretty amazing. Most cities take decades or 100 years to build up. This one's going to be built fairly quickly and just be plopped on the map. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Commissioner Wickstrom, I believe you had a question.
We're getting in the weeds here a little bit. I
And,
apologize.
and our record is in jeopardy for the
I know.
fastest.
We want to
hearing.
make it worth your trip to come down here. Did you know, are they going to use a submersible pump, or is it going to be above ground? Do you know on that yet?
I believe it's above ground. I am not the hydraulic engineer, but there's some, in your packet, it shows the internals, the concept design of the well house. And it does have those larger pipes above ground, is what I
It is a
understand.
cinder block building.
Yeah, it's the shell, yeah, the cinder block will just be a shell over that
It's
operation.
just a matter of noise, that's all.
Yeah, and the nearest home right now is 1,150 feet away. So that would be, they'd have to have pretty good years, so. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, any other questions from the commissioners? All right, seeing none, thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
And I'm going to assume that there is no public here that would like to comment. So I'll move back to Ms. Haynes. Is there any questions for the staff? Okay, seeing none, would you like an additional 5 minutes for any rebuttal on no additional comments? Okay. All right, so the public meeting is now closed, and I will look for a motion from one of the commissioners.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
based on the findings of fact and conclusions of law contained herein in the testimony from the public hearing, I recommend the commission approves with the waiver that staff mentioned, project number 2023-02403 CU MSP-PBA, subject to conditions of approval attached as Exhibit A in the master site plan, stamped on November 1st, and that waiver was, I'm spacing. Landscaping waiver, that's what it was, yeah. So I recommend approval with all that.
Second.
All right, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Would either of you like to discuss your motion and seconding?
No, this is out in the middle of nowhere.
All right.
And clearly, these people are going to want it. If they're going to want this and then complain about it, then that's on them. I mean, it's their water, their pump, their systems. So, yeah.
Are there any other comments from the commissioners before we vote? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? And I'll also vote aye, so the item passes. Thank you for attending. The next item on our agenda is re-elections.
Yes.
So,
Chairman, Commissioners, so as you've heard the sad news, Commissioner Exton is leaving us to pursue a career as a planner in the county that shall not be named, I guess, here
Rival
at
county.
the
Rival.
hearing tonight. But, so yeah, we had him for chair for a couple meetings, and now we need another chair. And we have an existing vice chair, and so as I put in our email, there's a couple ways you can approach this. You could elect a new chair. Commissioner Retzlaff could remain as vice chair. You could vote to promote Commissioner Retzlaff to chair, and we need to elect a new vice chair. So I'll kind of leave it up to you. It sounds like maybe you've had some preliminary conversations about who might want to do this, but it's rather informal. At the end of the day, what matters is we have a nomination and an effective vote. So I don't have much else to add at this point. If it gets contentious or we need a, secret ballots, we can make that happen. We've got some extra paper around here. But beyond that, I think right now we're looking for a nomination from someone as to how the commission would like to move forward with, and yeah, you don't have to defer to me. I think maybe you could ask the chair to speak if you had some questions.
Commissioner Retzlaff.
I'd like to make a nomination.
Yes, of course.
Yes, I'd like to nominate Chad Scott to be the commissioner.
I'll second it.
All right, so Commissioner Scott has been nominated and seconded for chair. Are there any other nominations for chair? Would you like to speak at all, Commissioner Scott or Commissioner Retzlaff?
No.
Okay.
Well, I'll speak. There was I know you come prepared, and there was one application. I think I had half a dozen reasons. I can't remember if it was for approval or disapproval. I think maybe it was disapproval. But you came up with my 6 plus 2 or 3 more. That really made sense and sealed the deal for me even more. So just appreciate your thoroughness and dedication to it. So I trust you and respect your opinions. So
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you for nominating me. I'm humbled by it. I don't have anything to say other than thank you. And if you guys vote me, obviously that hasn't happened, but I continue to look to your guys' expertise, having come well before me, and the vast amount of knowledge that we have at this table. And the great relationships that we have, even though when we do disagree, we always come out smiling. So,
Thank you. All those in favor of vote electing
Yes.
Do I vote?
Commissioner Scott to
do I vote,
chair?
or I don't
Yes.
even do it. Oh.
You can vote for yourself if you want. I don't think
Okay.
I'm going to hold it against you.
I feel like kind of a,
We won't look down upon that.
That's what the president does, so you guys can do that too.
I'd be like, nay.
All right, all those in favor of electing Commissioner Scott to chair, just say aye.
I,
And I'll also say aye. So congratulations.
Thank you.
New,
Big shoes to fill.
yes.
A couple of big shoes to fill. I've come under 3 outstanding chairs. So,
And Commissioner Retzloff, just to confirm, you would like to remain vice chair, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless you guys, anybody else wants it, let me know.
I like you being vice chair.
Thank you, ma'am.
And do I still do the minutes
Yes.
for this one?
Yes, you can. Yeah,
Okay.
you're running the meeting until the end.
Okay.
so.
So now I'm looking for a motion to approve the March 14th, 2024 minutes.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Blitman?
I move that we approve the March 14th, 2024 minutes.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
And I'll also say aye, so they pass.
And I just want to say I reviewed them and I didn't see anything that needed to be corrected. So good job doing the minutes.
yeah,
I'll abstain since I wasn't here.
Thank you.
All right.
Now we turn over to Leon.
Yeah, thank you. Well, first off, again, congratulations despite the hard time I'm giving you. I'm really excited for you.
Well, thank you.
Another planner in the fold is always the goal, so good to have another one out there in the far west.
Just understand, there's no place to eat out there in Caldwell.
I heard you have to bring your own
Indian
dinner
Creek's gotten pretty
to those hearings, so
Indian
tough
Creek
luck.
is good.
Maybe Sabrina will take better care of you,
Yeah.
but yeah, so quick shout out to Commissioner Exon. Thank you, Mr. Scott, for agreeing to be our chair, agreeing to be elected to be our chair. Commissioner Letza, thank you for continuing to be our vice chair. I'll go over what happened at the board meeting last night, and then I've got one quick little shout out at the end for somebody else here in the room. So last night, you guys beat the board, so always a goal, and you beat them by 25 minutes, so good job. First item was a time extension for a director level property boundary adjustment. They've just taken a lot of time getting this one done, lots of different property owners involved, and so they had to seek a time extension from the board because it's been taking so long. We had a variance, accessory use, and hillside application up in the, let's see, this is on the East Boise area that was tabled to our May 8th meeting at the request of the applicant. We had a 2-lot subdivision out in the King Road area. There was a zone change development agreement and a 2-lot subdivision. You recommended approval of that. This was that Pistol subdivision, and the board recommended or approved it ultimately. We also had a variance and an accessory use application just associated with some required setbacks for an accessory structure. This is in the Beacon Light Road area. That was approved 3-0. And then we had a conditional use and a master site plan for a small public, quasi-public building for Sparklight out off of the Maple Grove area. Also had a variance for some setbacks. Former planner Connor Lindstrom presented his first application to the board on that one, and they were nice to him. They also approved it. And then finally, we had a variance for a wall, kind of a sound screen wall for the Element Sky subdivision, if you guys remember that one, Linder Road, east of the LDS temple there. You guys had a subdivision on that. They needed a retaining wall for kind of some tricky topography that exceeded the 6-foot height max, and that one was ultimately approved as well. Do you have any questions on the items heard? Okay, yes.
This is not related to that meeting, but there is, at I think the next board meeting, a discussion about the solar farm that's being planned down at the very south end that would be both in Ada County and in Canyon County. I gather that's not going to come before this body, correct?
That's right, Commissioner Birch. Yeah, it has a variance associated with it, so it will go straight to the board for their review. So you guys dodged that
I
bullet.
heard they have a tough planner over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you'll get to pick up that one when you get over there. Any other questions on projects?
No.
Okay. The shout out is, we recently hired an associate planner position, or for one of our associate planner positions, Michaela Owens, our former assistant, has been promoted to associate, so she'll be spending more time with you at these public hearings, presenting items. So yeah, congratulations to Michaela, and we're now looking for another assistant planner. So with that, I'll conclude my comments, and again, thank you guys, and thanks for making it a quick one tonight.
Thank you, and the meeting is adjourned.
That was amazing. Is that the record?